Welcome to Simple English. Strong mind. Here, your words grow stronger, and so does your heart.
G'day and welcome to another episode of Simple English Strong Mind. I'm Mark, and today we're tackling something that affects literally everyone at some point in their lives. How to choose the career or path that truly belongs to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sarah, joining Mark today, and I'm so excited about this topic. You know, it's funny, eh? People often spend more time researching what phone to buy than they do thinking about their career choices that will impact decades of their lives.
That's so true, Sarah, and before we dive in, I want to share something personal. I actually switched careers twice before finding my true calling in broadcasting. First, I was in accounting, because my parents thought it was, stable.
Oh, really? I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, I absolutely hated every minute of it. Then I tried marketing, which was better, but still didn't feel quite right. And now here I am, loving what I do every single day.
That's such a common story, isn't it? I think most people have that winding path these days. For me, I started in education because I thought I wanted to be a teacher, but quickly realized I was more passionate about communicating ideas in different formats. And now,
you're brilliant at what you do.
Thanks, mate. So today, we're going to unpack some common myths about career choices, then look at how to make decisions from your authentic inner self. We'll also explore practical techniques for evaluating your interests and abilities and share some real-world success stories.
Exactly. And I think a great place to start is with those myths that so many people believe about career choices. Shall we dive into those first?
Let's do it. I'll kick us off with what I think is the biggest myth, that there is one perfect career out there for each person, and your job is to find this magical, perfect match.
Oh my goodness, yes. That's such a harmful belief. The truth is, most people could be happy and successful in multiple different careers. It's not about finding the one perfect fit, but rather finding a good match between your skills, interests, and values.
Absolutely. And the pressure of finding that perfect career leads to so much anxiety and indecision. People get paralyzed thinking they might make the wrong choice.
Another huge myth is that your university major dictates your career path forever. I can't tell you how many people I've met who are working in fields completely unrelated to what they studied.
Right? The statistics show that most people work in areas not directly related to their degrees. Your major is just a starting point, not a life sentence.
The third myth I'd like to debunk is that everyone else has it all figured out except for you. This one's particularly damaging because it's so isolating.
Oh gosh, yes. When in reality, most of us are just
making it up as we go along.
Exactly. Even people who seem to have perfect career trajectories often have moments of doubt or are figuring things out behind the scenes.
And the final myth I think we should address is that money is the most important factor in career happiness. Research consistently shows that after your basic needs are met, more money doesn't significantly increase job satisfaction.
That's so true. I have friends making six figures who are miserable and others making modest incomes who jump out of bed excited for work every morning.
Okay, so now that we've cleared up some of these common misconceptions, let's talk about how to actually make career decisions from a place of intrinsic motivation. Sarah, would you like to start us off?
I'd love to. So the most powerful approach to career choice is to start with understanding your intrinsic motivation. What naturally energizes and engages you without external rewards.
That's a great point. And research based on self-determination theory shows that people are most motivated and satisfied when three core needs are met: competence, autonomy, and relatedness.
Exactly. So when evaluating a potential career path, you should ask yourself, will this allow me to develop mastery and feel competent? Will I have meaningful control over my work? And will it connect me to others or contribute to something larger than myself.
I love that framework, and I think it's so much more useful than just saying, follow your passion, which can be really confusing advice.
Oh, don't get me started on the just follow your passion advice. Passions develop over time through engagement and mastery. They don't always come pre-installed.
Exactly. Instead of asking, what's my passion? I think a better question is, what kinds of problems do I enjoy solving? Or what activities make me lose track of time?
Those are brilliant questions. I'd also suggest people reflect on their values. What matters most to them in life? Do they value creativity, helping others, intellectual challenge, or perhaps financial security?
And it's important to remember that our values can sometimes conflict. Like, maybe you value both adventure and stability. Then you need to prioritize which matters more to you right now.
Absolutely. And our values can change over time too, which brings us nicely to the practical side. How do you actually evaluate your interests and abilities?
Great question. There are some really practical tools that can help with this process. Formal assessments like the Holland Code, which categorizes interests into 6 types: realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, and conventional, can be really helpful.
Those can definitely provide a useful starting point. I also think simple self-reflection exercises can be incredibly powerful. For example, making a list of activities that energize you versus those that drain you.
Oh, I love that exercise. Another approach is to reflect on times when you were in a state of flow, completely absorbed in what you were doing. What were you doing in those moments?
That's brilliant. And don't forget to consider your transferable skills, those abilities that can be valuable across different roles and industries.
Absolutely. And this is where I think career exploration becomes important. You can't really know if something is right for you until you try it in some form. That might mean volunteering, job shadowing, taking a class, or doing informational interviews.
Yes, experimentation is so crucial. And that reminds me, we promised to share some real success stories, didn't we?
We sure did. Would you like to share one you know about?
I'd love to. So, I have this friend Alex, who was working as a financial analyst. He was good at it, and the pay was great, but he always felt something was missing. Through a process of self-reflection, he realized that what he really loved about his job was explaining complex concepts to clients, not the financial analysis itself.
So, what did he do?
He gradually shifted his career toward financial education. Now he creates online courses and workshops that help people understand personal finance. He makes less money than before, but he's infinitely happier because he's using his natural teaching abilities and making a direct impact on people's lives.
That's a fantastic example. I have a similar story about my friend Becca. She was working in project management, but kept feeling inadequate because she struggled with public speaking, which was part of her role.
Oh no, that must have been tough for her.
It was, but instead of seeing this as a sign she was in the wrong career, she recognized that communication was a skill she could develop. She joined Toastmasters, took coaching sessions, and gradually transformed this weakness into a strength.
That's brilliant. So it wasn't about finding a different path, but about growing into her current one.
Exactly. And now she's not only successful in her career, but also helping others overcome their fear of public speaking.
These stories highlight something really important. There isn't just one path to fulfillment. Sometimes it's about finding a new direction, and sometimes it's about adapting and growing where you are.
That's such a good point, Sarah. And I think what both stories share is the importance of self-awareness. Both Alex and Becca made conscious choices based on understanding themselves better.
Absolutely. And speaking of self-awareness, I think we should sum up the practical steps our listeners can take to find their own authentic path.
Great idea. So first, I'd say identify your core values and intrinsic motivators. What naturally energizes you?
Second, assess your strengths and the skills you enjoy using. Not just what you're good at, but what you actually like doing.
Third, consider the environments and cultures where you thrive. Some people love competitive settings. others prefer collaborative ones.
Fourth, experiment and gather data. Try things out before making big commitments.
And finally, remember that career development is an ongoing journey, not a one-time decision. Be willing to adjust course as you learn and grow.
That's perfect. And I would add one more thing. Be patient with yourself. Finding your authentic path takes time, and that's completely okay.
Absolutely. It's not about getting it perfect right away. It's about continuous alignment between who you are and what you do.
Well said, Mark. And with that, we're coming to the end of today's episode. Remember, everyone, the goal isn't to find the perfect career, but to create a life where your work feels meaningful and aligned with who you truly are.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks so much for joining us today. We'd love to hear about your own career journey. What strategies have helped you find your authentic path?
Yes. Drop us a comment or reach out on our website. And don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this episode of Simple English, Strong Mind.
Until next time, this is Mark
And Sarah.
wishing you a fulfilling journey toward finding your true path.